Should I wait? Are we recording? Okay. So I had this fixed. So I'm with OPPA. Um, and I had this fixed one like last year sometime, but I think that it's somehow unfixed itself or something because people are being able to add other people to their profile. So if someone's an agency user, they're able to add other users under them, and it's creating a double profile, and I want to stop that. But I can't figure out where that is because I don't know why it undid itself either.
Okay, so are you Dallas area?
Oregon Public Purchasing, sorry.
Oregon,
Oregon Public
sorry.
Purchasing, yeah.
And you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still getting used to Teams.
No, you're okay.
So what you're saying is people are adding their own secondary members under the account?
Yes.
Okay.
And I know that there's a way to turn that off. I just can't remember how to do it.
Can change for membership, charge for membership changes. See, sometimes I have to look for things too.
Yeah.
Under member type, so would it be based on, do you have agency members, Calliska, and individual members?
We do have agency and we have individual.
Yeah, so they can you have up to 100 secondary. I see that.
Yeah, because our agency folks would. Oh, I think someone's not muted. Yeah, sometimes our agency folks would need.
Sometimes your agency folks would what?
Oh, sorry, I don't know. Yeah, so our agency folks would need that, but our regular and associate members would not.
So you don't want secondary members under your other member types. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we only want them under agency.
Gotcha.
I think this is what I was talking about, Yvonne, yesterday, with some of the member types being created, allowing secondary members under individual member types.
Okay, so they're both set up, looks like, to allow, this one only has 86 secondaries. So let's see.
So do I need to click no there? Is that where I need to click no?
First, we'll want to break them out into their own individual memberships if they have any secondary, and then we'll turn that off. So
we already merged their files.
Let's just see here. So see, you have 34 active members. It looks like right now, let me just double check that it's just active. 31 active members that are secondary attached to a primary. So first we'll need to have Michael break these out into their own individual regular memberships, and then we'll turn off that setting.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just worried that we put them under that. Are they under, like, if you click on one of those, is it under an agency profile or is it?
Well, we can look at this one here. If we click here, these are the members that are in this primary members profile. So she's got these 4 secondary members under this regular member profile. So you're saying you want each of these to have their own regular member profile instead of a secondary membership under Sandra.
So my understanding is that they're supposed to be under agency, not secondary. Like, I don't want Sandra to be able to add anybody here. That's what I'm getting at, is I don't want, like, Sandra, if she's logged in, to be able to add somebody. See where it says add additional members to your account? I don't want that to happen.
Right, but the membership type right now for this membership type is allowing for secondary members. So the question would be, let's go back to Sandra. I think that was Oregon Police.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that one? So the question is, Is Sandra a regular member or an agency member?
I would need to change her to agency.
And then as an agency member, are these people secondary memberships under the agency?
That's correct.
Okay, so then you just change the primary member type to agency, and then everybody else's that are currently in here will also change to agency.
Okay. Okay. So we can do that first, and then we would go into that, and then we would go into the add edit member type, and then turn off the ability to be able to do that, right?
Yes, then because yeah, you're just going to turn off that regular members can have secondary members, but it sounds like a lot of these people that currently have secondary members are miscategorized, and they should have been categorized as agency instead of regular or associate.
Yes.
Okay, so just update the primary. All you have to do is update the primary
Okay.
to
I think we have to figure out who the primary is, but yeah.
yeah, and the way you can figure that out is, I had these two right here checked, and just, go to this little icon here, and it'll take you to the primary member.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll work on it.
Okay, let me know if you have any questions. You can email us.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like Amanda has a question.
Yeah, mine's maybe more of a general question, but so we've got agencies, we have one that we're waiting for them to pay their membership. But the agency primary has maybe decided that they won't be the primary. How's the best way to move all the secondaries to a different primary? I mean, how much work is that?
It gets a little tricky, but it depends on whether or not one of the secondaries is going to be moved up to the primary. If that's the case, then it's really simple.
Oh.
Which group are you with?
I'm with Iowa, IPPA.
So let's look at one of these here. Do you know which one you're talking about?
Yeah, the last name is Muir, M-U-I-R.
Okay, so you've got, if it's Michelle, you've got a few non-member actives right here.
Yeah, we need to clean that up, but she's that agency pending, that middle one.
Okay, and you guys know how to clean up and merge your non-member.
Yeah, we just haven't done that yet. That's on my
Okay.
to-do list.
Okay, so this one here is, well, right now she's dropped.
The third one.
The third
yeah.
one pending.
Yeah.
So right now, these are the secondary members. If one of these members is planning on being the primary, then you just do a level change. And
Oh, okay.
let's just pretend it is going to be Mao, and I won't do the process,
Okay.
but I'll show you how.
Okay.
You go to member options and level changes, and then you're going to promote a secondary member to primary, and you look up the name, MAU, and you choose that person, and then you'd hit select and save, and that would automatically make her the primary, and it would move the current primary down to a secondary. And then
Okay.
if that secondary is no longer working for the company and you need to drop them completely, then you would go to the primaries profile. You'd go to the primaries profile, and then which now would be Mao, MAU, and then you would go to her members, and you would just remove whoever that one person is who might not be working at that company anymore. And then after you remove them, you'd hit save.
Okay.
But if they're still working for the company, they're just going to be changed to a secondary.
Okay.
That it in terms of your question?
Yeah.
Yep, Amanda, great. Okay, Lisa, you have your hand up.
I guess hello. Coming to you regarding the Kansas Association, and just asking, as we're kind of on the same topic with primary and secondary members, and this is a new implementation, so it may be a little bit of the transition occurring, but I have a request to better understand where primary members can find their, what is that number that they need to add secondary members onto their agency, and trying to do a quick little guide. But I'm not a primary, so I don't have that same access. If you could show me where to find that. Or I was going to ask if ClubExpress would provide just a list of those numbers to leadership within the chapters so that we didn't have to go digging for that.
All right, so I believe you're referring to this number here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what
Okay,
you would.
so that's just in the member profile.
Yes, so you would go to the the primary member profile and click on edit, and then click on their members in their account, and right there is the code.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody with a hand up? Any questions they'd like to ask? Like we have definitely some questions about secondary members and primary members. My guess is based on renewals and all of that. Well, gosh, I don't see any hands up. So Yvonne, I don't know if you want to talk about some of the things that we spoke about yesterday in terms of titles and contacts and system emails and.
Yeah, I had a question come up recently about an event that was being created. I'll just use this website. And if you go to the control panel and the website tab and events, I'm just going to choose one event here. The event contact. Somebody in another group had actually changed event contact, the word event contact, to the person's name. And when you went to the event, it said Lisa Robbins and then Lisa Robbins. So I just wanted to, point that out, that yes, you can change this wording. If you don't want it to say event contacts, if you want it to say something else, you can change it. But that's not where you actually assign the event contact person. That's just the title or the wording, just like how you can change register now to read more, or anything you want this button to say can be, you can change that wording. You can also change this wording. And just, I wanted to bring that up just as a reminder that you don't want to actually, I mean, like if you wanted to change event contact, you could, but you're not going to change it to somebody's name. If that makes sense. Anyone have any questions about that? Or where to change it, or where to change the register now text on the button?
Can you show where to change it?
Yeah, so let's see, in the, I believe it's right here. Yeah, event contact prompt is where you can change that text. And then the register now should be right here. And the registration and fees is where, let me see, yeah, where you can change the text on the button. Like for instance, maybe registration's not open yet, but you want to put something like opening January 1st or something like that. You could put that in that little button there if you wanted to do something like that. And then we were also going to, now that you're going to be having elections, and I don't mean to be picking on Kansas here, but it's just the website I happen to currently have open. But now that you're going to be having elections, and probably a lot of people are going to be changing their roles within the organization, there are titles and the contact us that we thought we could quickly go over. The titles, as you know, as I'm assuming you all know, within your system emails, there is a system tag test that you can send to yourself. And when you send that to yourself, it will pull up all of the system tags that you have set up that are automatically populated within your emails. So for instance, if you're using renewal notice 1, 2, and 3, and if you go to the renewal notice here, it'll say, this is a system tag where it'll automatically populate the membership director's title, the membership director's name, the membership director's phone number, which is taken from the person's profile, and their email. Same here. So you never want to mess with these system tags within your email, because if you break that system tag, what the member is actually going to see, like for instance, if I were to accidentally go back, now I just broke that system tag, and what the member is going to see when they get the email is actually that text. They're not going to see the name of the person. It's not going to be able to populate the name. So I'm not going to save that. And so I recommend doing a system tag test email to make sure that all of your system tags are set up properly, and that if there's no one assigned, again, not only if it's broken, but if there's nobody assigned to that title, they're going to get that tilde membership _ title instead of actually getting a name put in there. So I recommend sending yourself a system tag, and then where you would edit the system tags or edit the contacts are within the titles, where you would assign your person, your individual titles. The title for president is assigned president. This membership chair, the title is membership chair. So that's what would be populated in. One thing you cannot do is you cannot assign multiple. You could not go in here and assign the president as also the person who is the membership director, and also the person who's the treasurer, and also the club webmaster. The ClubExpress will get confused and not understand that. And so it will not be able to work with the system tags if you assign more than one title to the same person, the same title contact. And then, so once you set up these, then you need to actually assign who the president is. So you would go to the contacts. Where am I?
I think it's under chapter. Yeah.
There you go. The contact us, and then that's where you would change who the president is. Got the title president. So who is the president? So if a new president comes in, you would go here and you would change, and you would choose the new president's name. And then it asks you whether or not you want to show the phone number and show the email on the contact us page, because this is what coordinates the contact us page. So they work hand in hand. And then you say, which email do you want to use? Do you want to use the member's email or the email that is assigned to the title? Now, if you don't have an email assigned to the title, you can't do that. So again, it goes back to the titles. President, you have an email that's actually assigned to that title. So that is so you're saying you want the title's email address to show instead of the actual person's member profile email to show. These do get a little confusing. Even I think I've been working with ClubExpress now for 8 or 9 years, and even I still get confused sometimes when I have to update these. So if you have any questions or the system tags don't seem to be working, just reach out to us and we'll walk through it with you to make sure that you've got it set up properly. But I know that it looks like you're having elections, and coming up, a lot of you are having elections. And so that might be, a lot of those things might be changing. And Ronnie or Kaylee, did we have something else on the agenda that we thought we'd go over if we had some extra time?
Did anyone have any questions first? Can we make a pause? If you do have a question, just raise your hand. Lisa has a question. Let's start with that.
My apologies. I'm still kind of working on that first issue with the secondary members. So as I understand it, there's no general list, right, that you provide for leadership in these chapters of all these numbers to assign secondary members.
I can ask Michael about that. That is not something I've ever run.
Okay.
And I don't believe I have the access to run that, but I will. Okay. You're talking about for each organization, a list of those?
Yeah, it might be super handy, you know, when we're hitting the renewals, just to have that information for some of us who have just implemented this website to kind of serve as a resource. But additionally, my actual question is, I went back to look at the member who could not find that code and have determined that they set them up under an individual membership and not an agency membership. So I'm wondering how I can change that. I did go to the member options, but it didn't quite look like there was an option for that under those selections.
My apologies. Which one are you with again?
Kansas.
Okay,
The one
that
with-
was Kansas. That's what I thought.
Mhm.
And the name was again.
The last name is Tripp, Tripp.
Oh, it looks like you're under the national.
Oh, geez.
Oh, okay. So that's weird. I can see him. He's not in an agency. It's just an individual. There we go.
Okay, so your question here was again.
We need to establish him as a primary, but I understand member options is kind of where you change your levels, but I didn't see where to actually change their membership type.
So his membership type should not be an individual.
Right.
So member type, expiration, join date,
Okay.
and that's where you can change it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
And then of course hit save.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, my eyes are red.
Yvonne, can I just ask in terms of the list of primary and secondary members, is there a data export that can be run? So it's just that they could possibly, Lisa could run that a report on her own. I'm just not sure if there is one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were looking for the code to add a report with the code to add secondary members.
Yeah, that's
Under-
what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you're looking for the code. Okay, my
Sorry.
misunderstanding. No, absolutely. I misunderstood. Okay, Trisha, you have a question.
So I have a question. I am with Sampo, and I was working on a survey, and I've got it ready, and I had my vice presidents kind of test it, and one of them said that she only sees on the one page an input for 5 contracts and a spend for 10, and when I look at it, I see 10 and 10, so I don't know what to do. If
Okay,
she's seeing,
what group? I'm sorry.
it's NY Sampo. Right there, New York State Association.
Right there. Yep, that's the right one.
And which survey?
It's that second one, member survey.
And you're saying this right here?
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you see the 10, and then there's 10 at the bottom. And she says she's only seen 5 and 10.
And this is the other 10 you're talking about?
Yep.
Is she viewing it? I'm wondering how she's viewing it.
I sent her, well, what did I do? Oh, I gave her the instructions to click on the member survey and click the icon and take a test. So I had her do the same thing we're doing. So I don't know why she's only seeing 5 and not 10 at the beginning.
Right. I mean, I'm wondering if she's viewing it, on a tablet or a phone. If they're separating into 2 columns, because it's clearly set up correctly with number of 10 boxes.
Ask her if she's maybe viewing it on a phone.
Yeah, check that, and maybe it needs to, scroll over to see the other 10. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So I'll ask her that.
Yeah, and if she's still having a problem, reach out to us and we'll take
Okay.
a look at it deeper.
My other question is, we're in the middle of renewal time, and a lot of our members are not able to print their invoice. So I'm getting like 1,000,000 emails asking for a printed invoice. I know I got my renewal and I was able to print.
I'm guessing they're not scrolling down to the bottom and seeing this option.
They get that, but then they click that and they get an error.
It is a pop-up, and I'm wondering if maybe they have their pop-ups.
That's what they get.
Okay, so this is something they have to turn on in their browser. They have to go to their extensions, and then their Adobe Acrobat extension browser here. You need to have them turn it on to, and I can take a screenshot of this. Should be this one when you click on the extension. Double check that. This started happening about 2 years ago with the Adobe, and I don't know why. Yeah, so that's what it is. So let me just take a little screenshot of this. And I think I can, again, I'm not really good with Teams, but I should be able to put that in the chat.
Paste it into the chat. Yeah.
And now is this
Another
information
option,
on this?
just an FYI, another option when you
Okay.
go to print the invoice,
Yeah.
you
Change
do
it to HTML.
Yeah, and then it'll just open up a window.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or Excel. Can you do Excel?
I'm gonna start telling them that.
Yeah, you can do Word, Excel. Yeah.
Okay. Other than
Most
Adobe.
people just end up doing the Adobe, which is, and then that if their browser isn't turned on, their extension isn't turned on to open it, it won't open.
I will try that as well. Now I know you were talking about the titles and the emails or the tags. So this invoice that prints, is that a tag? Because I noticed my name is on it with my work email. At the bottom. How is that? Is that just from those tags?
It is. It's from the title, but I don't see your email.
It's right there after my name, Trisha Wise or by email.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the president one here. So you are the membership chair, and it's set to that. Let's see. It says show email members. So we just need to change that to show email title.
Ah, okay.
And then that should take care of it. It may take a little bit to catch up and
Okay.
sync, but that should take care of it.
Great. Thank you.
And let's see. Email to use. Let's do email to use. Sorry about that. We're going to do title. Wait, that's the webmaster. Show email members. So that's what's going to show on the contact us page. And then which email title. It's going to, only members are going to see your email on the contact us page. And then it's going to show the title one.
Okay.
And if we check that right here, membership.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that letter, it'll change as well.
Yes, that might take a little
Okay.
bit of time,
Time.
but
Okay.
yes.
Well, next year. Okay. Thank you. That's all
No
my
problem.
questions.
Anyone else have a question? A hand raised? I don't see any hands raised. Yvonne, we had talked yesterday about newsletters. And we do have, Nicole has her hand up. Let's,
Hi, could we go back to the Kansas one? I'd love to show Lisa kind of the report of the primary and secondary. You'd said you were gonna ask Michael, but I think I know how to get to it. Could we go to the people tab there? And if you go to people manager, yep. And then just do both, search for both members, non-members. And check all, yep, search, and give it a trip, yep, and then search. So that's pulling up all active records, and then see the little actions button by where it says page 1 of 3, and then export this list to CSV. And it should bring up, I don't know if you can show that on, that may be a little bit more of a challenge, but.
Right, but she's not looking for the list of members. She's looking for the list of codes.
Yeah,
for the,
it shows it, I think, the primary and secondary, so that way she, like, let's say a member asks if what their list is of secondary members. You should be able to sort and filter down on that list.
Right, but that's not the membership code to give out so that they can join as a secondary member. That's what she's looking for.
Oh, I see.
I appreciate the teamwork, Nicole. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and you can actually use this to drill down even further, you know, just if you only wanted a specific member type and a specific member level. Or, you know, just there's so many different options. And then when you run the reports, like if you're only looking for agency that are primary, and obviously when you search for those, then you can also export that to a CSV.
So
Or if you wanna, sorry, go ahead.
is the primary member not able to log in and add their
Yes.
secondary? Is that?
Yes, they can. They can add secondary members, but this is the what she's actually looking for is the code here.
Okay.
So this one here allows up to 20 people in your organization to add themselves. Primary can also add secondaries, but they need this code to add themselves. If that makes sense. That's what she's looking for, is that code.
Gotcha.
and so that's on the basis that you as an admin would give out that code to to all of the secondaries or to the primary. Just trying to understand what the need of a list of the codes for everyone.
Yeah, just so I wouldn't have to access the website each time. I could just have it as a resource if I get questioned, because as I mentioned, we're new to the website.
Yeah.
We just implemented, so this will be our first renewal. So we're doing some training with our members on how to properly add secondary members, how to actually enter your membership as an agency versus an individual. So just trying to have something at my fingertips as opposed to going into each one as they come up.
Because I would think it's actually in place as it is for security purposes, right, Yvonne? Wouldn't you think that that's not something that only the primary member or the admin has access to? But no, I understand what you're saying, Lisa. It's just my guess is that's why there's not really a report in place that provides that information. But okay. Anyone else?
No.
Yep, sorry.
Oh, I was saying I will double check though.
Anyone else have a question with a hand up? Oh, Roger. Hi, Roger. You have a question.
my mic was off. Sorry about that. Hi, all. Just trying to, maybe you can help me figure out, I need to get onto my front page of jobs board.
Okay, which group are you with?
City of Bristol, Connecticut.
It's the Connecticut chapter, so it's.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Public Purchasing Association of Connecticut. Sorry.
Oh, this one.
Yep, that's us. So I've created a job on the board, but I don't know how to get it onto our front page. Other than putting it under a chapter news item.
Yeah. How often do you have new jobs?
Maybe once a month or so. Doesn't happen often.
You could have a link to the job boards, or you can, each time you have a new one, put a news article in, or you could just do a news article that is that doesn't expire. So there's no expiration date, so it's always going to appear there. And with a, with something about click here to get to the news board. It just depends also how many news articles you have. Like this one is from May.
Yeah. Yeah, Susan was going to update that, so.
You could do something. This is a 100% row, and you could do something different where it would be like a 75% row and a 25% row. And with the news widget, you get to choose which types of articles get pulled into the widget. So if you were to do this, if you were to break this row into like a 75-25, you could have a permanent article right here on the 25% that was click here to go to the job board. And then you would just, when you create that widget, you would say that you only want this category to show up there. So it's always going to show there. And then the other 3/4 of the width of the page could be your regular news articles that are constantly changing.
Okay.
Maybe something a little easier just to mention is you can also edit those call to action buttons above, right? So you could change one of those if you're not using the resource library or the join or whatever, you can change that to jobs, right? And then people can click on that and it would take, and you link that to their job board. You can also add it to your menu. Like, so for instance, if your navigation menu, if you have jobs, you can just add the job board to your menu. So other options.
Where does that happen? Maybe I just haven't found that yet.
To add a link to the jobs board to your menu?
Yes. Yeah. You just had popping up to show me where I have the resource library and join. And if I go into my control panel, it's under website, right?
So wait a minute, let me go back. So your option, you're thinking you would like to add another icon or change one of these icons out.
Correct.
Versus add a link up here to the job board.
Right. I would rather have it down below, down there, one of those.
So when you're logged in, and this is not something I'm going to guess that you're going to be able to easily do yourself. When you're logged in, you just go to your pop-out window here and click on edit. And then this is the active version of the home page, and you click there. And these are done in rows. And so you just get to the row that you want to edit, which is this row, and click on it and edit the advanced editor. And basically, if you're going to swap out one of these, you would have to go into the HTML and change the image and change the text and change the link.
You're right. So, that might be a little more work.
So do you need to change you don't need to necessarily change the image though, right? And can't you just type over the text that's in this box, Yvonne? Can't you just?
Yeah. So like if you, sorry, see how that brought me to the resource library? Yeah. So no, you really need to cancel.
So maybe it is better to do off of the top taskbar.
It's if you told us that you wanted to change, I don't even know which one you would change, an existing image that's already there. If you wanted to see, you see what I'm doing there? I'm clicking in there to try to change the text, and it won't let me change the text because it's a link and
Yeah.
it's bringing me right there.
Yeah.
So if you said that you wanted to use this image but change it to a job board, I can do it if you provide the link, and I can provide directions to others on how to do that. It's just, it really is not too difficult.
Is it easier to do the top board though, where it's the home about?
That's super simple, and
It
that
is,
is
okay.
done, that is done under website menus. And you have two separate menus. You have a public menu and a member menu. And your member, I'm assuming maybe this member menu or the job board, is that for the public as well, or is it only for members?
It's for members.
So you would want to, there's another thing. If you were going to do that on the home page with one of those icons, you would have to have two rows. One row would be for the public facing and one row would be for the member facing. And the member facing would have a link. So then you're getting a little bit trickier there as well. But for here, you would just, you look at the member menu, and this is what pulls when people are logged in. I don't know where you would want to do it. If you wanted it as a separate thing completely all by itself, you could just highlight the job boards and then use the arrow to pull it over. And then you determine where you want it to go. Maybe you want it to be the second item, which means it would drop in right here. And then you save. Or I'm not going to save that. I'm going to give you a different option that might be something else you want to do. The member menu here, you've got a sub menu of member resources. So we would go down to the member resources sub menu and edit that. And maybe we want the job boards to be on that sub menu. And maybe we want it to be up as the very first item. Now I'm going to save this because I can pull it over and remove it very quickly. And now when I go to member resources, the job boards is right there.
Okay.
Now, would you like me to move that out?
No, actually, that's good.
And that's a good position for it?
It is.
And this is the job boards you're looking for?
Yes.
Perfect. Then that's it.
Wow.
Anyone have
Okay.
questions on that?
Even another option is you can add it to the rotating slider at the top, right? If you wanted, right? So on your homepage, you can even add it as one of those call to action rotators. Pretty much, Roger, it's up to you in terms of where you want to add it. So lots of options.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions? I don't see any hands up. Any questions? Well, oh, Lisa has her hand up again. Okay.
Well, going back to this kind of being about the system emails, I just wanted to maybe mention or review some of that, some of those that are auto generated and how you can change those. But as I'm not I'm not a script writer, right? So I've gone into a couple of ours and tried to change them, but I just want to be cognizant of what I can change and what is labeled for a certain reason. Would you mind reviewing that information with us so that we know if we see something funny, we can go in and make changes, but this is like how the parameters that the system uses to auto-populate those different script components. Does that make sense?
Sure. So the green check mark indicates that you've customized it. So that's the first thing. So any email that has a green check mark means that it's been customized by you. This here is something that ClubExpress added, I think maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, where you can actually default, set a default for who the email is coming from. It could be a name. It doesn't have to be, it could be president, here, whatever. So that's the default. And unless you override it within within the email, this is what every system email is going to come from. It's going to say that it's coming from KAPPP, and that it's the from name is Kansas Association. Okay. But like I said, that can be overridden in each individual email. For instance, maybe renewal notices you want to come from the membership chair with an email address of membership at instead of info at. So going to the mid-year membership change, the one that you have currently edited, first of all, if you click on this wrench, that's where you can change the subject line to whatever you want. This is overriding that default, and the from address and the from name. This is where you would change it to, membership at if you wanted to. And then I always recommend tracking your opens. And that's where you're going to get, especially with government agencies, you're going to get a lot of emails that are blocked for spam that are coming from ClubExpress because it's listed as a club. And so government agencies, especially law firms, government agencies, they block a lot of these emails unless they get whitelisted. So by tracking the open, you'll now see a little gear. That means that we've done something here as well. So, and if you ever decide you made a mistake and you broke a system tag, if you click the delete button, and you see that none of these other ones have delete, it's only the 2 that have been customized. If you click the delete button, it'll revert back to the original text with the original system tags, and then you can start over again. So if you click on the pencil icon, and I will blow this up. Again, the one thing you don't want to do unless you decide that you really don't need it in your email is remove the system tags, or actually, just make a mistake in the system tag by taking out you backspaced like that. Now that just broke that tag. Okay. Some of these system emails are very, very generic. They are generated for thousands of ClubExpress clients that are not specific, obviously. So it's a good idea to come in here and change the text, because a lot of them will say club, and you're not a club, you're a chapter. So it'll say, it's time to renew your membership in the club. So it's definitely a good thing to go in and customize these. And I just deleted that because I didn't want to keep that broken tag in there. So, and sometimes they're missing periods, by the way. So definitely look through these, and not all of these are ones that you will need. You are probably not doing anything with I think there is there's some ski clubs, and so ski clubs reserve rooms, and you're not reserving rooms. So a lot of these emails have nothing to do with you, but just kind of look through them and figure out which ones might have to do with you. Obviously, renewals, password changes, event confirmation, new member. If you're approving prospective members, if somebody joins your group and you have to have your board of directors approve the membership, then there are approved prospective members. Approved prospective sub-members would be like the secondaries. So though, just kind of, like I said, I'm sorry, just look through these and try and figure out which ones sound like they'd be ones that you would use, and edit them, make sure there's periods, replace club with chapter. And all you have to do, if this, if this said club right here, you would just highlight over it and change it to chapter. And that's it. And then save. And I'm not going to save, of course. Maybe you don't like to sign off sincerely. Maybe you want to sign off, sincerely from the Kansas, from KAPPP or something like that. Or if you want to include the president's, if you wanted to include the president's phone number, you could just go hit a return there and select your tag, and you can add additional tags. So let's see, is there a president phone? And then if I click on that, I make sure my cursor is right there. And then I hit insert tag, and now the president's phone number will also be included in the email. And I am not going to save that. Now, if somebody were to say, I never got that password reset, or I never got a renewal notice, you could click on the track opens, which is this. So once I turned on track opens, this appeared, and you could click on it and hit search. Since I just turned it on, there aren't any, but it would show here who was sent that email, what day and time it was sent, and then whether or not they opened it. Now, sometimes that's nice because you're like, come on, seriously, you did open it. But other times it's also nice because you can say, it was actually sent to you last Friday at 2 p.m. Please check your spam for that email. And then they can look through at that date and time to try and find the email. Does that answer your question, or did you want to look at something more in depth than that?
No, that was good. Thank you.
And then you can send yourself a test, and you can send it to as many people as you want, but you can only send yourself a test to one person at a time. If you click this little envelope, you can put in it. If you're logged in, it's automatically going to populate your email address. But if you didn't want to send it to you and you wanted to send another test to somebody else, then you could just remove your email address and put somebody else's email address in there, so that they could look at the test email as well.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Any more questions before we wrap up? Because we only have about 10 more minutes. Plenty of time for another question if anyone has one. I don't see any hands raised. We will be doing this again the week of Thanksgiving. I'm guessing it's going to be a quiet week, but we will do this again on Tuesday, the fourth Tuesday of this month. I definitely want to thank Yvonne for leading us today. You all also should have Yvonne and Kaylee's email address. Should you have any issues in terms of reaching out to them, it is nigp@acclaimpros.net. And so appreciate your time today. Thank you, Yvonne. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, yes, I won't be here. It'll be Michael running that one. So yes, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you.